Meat grinder for single moms. I started working for a privately owned business a little over 2 years ago. The husband and wife owners seemed nice and the office manager soon became my bestie. Fast forward to today and I've realized that the owner is laundering money through cash sales, $2K to $10K a month, and the office manager is living out a fantasy of paying back the mean girls in high school. She bullies, has friends come in to harass me, sabotages my paperwork, name calls, and constantly makes comments about me smelling bad. My rude 9-year-old or boyfriend would have mentioned it if I did. I think she was told this when she was a teenager and it's the greatest weapon she has. I've been very direct in relaying this to the owner, he either laughs or enthusiastically covers for her. He has ripped up paperwork that showed her sabotage, accused me of a persecution complex, and outright lies to cover for her. I'm the second struggling single mother she has chased out of this position in the last 5 years. I know there have been others. I don't want the next one to suffer like this. What can I do? It's like he's throwing raw meat in front of a rabid animal and laughing at the drama. All the while laundering money. I've worked for some sickos in my life, but this place takes the cake. The business isn't listed on BBB. He keeps a low profile and stays under the radar. It's how he's survived all these years with his corruption. Edit, the computer systems are literally older than I am. The IT companies have almost stopped working with him because of the age of the systems he uses. I always thought he was cheap, turns out, his system doesn't use time codes and allows for falsifying records. He could be easily caught, though. All it takes is an IRS agent to come in with a cash purchase several times in a week. Then when they audit at the end of a month, they would find return tickets for the items they purchased, but never returned. When an anti-union co-worker comes up with the idea of a union. Where I live we don't have unionized/non-unionized companies. You can belong to any union you want or none at all. Once you get a certain percentage of employees belonging to a single union, then the company has to recognize them. At the company I work for there are 3 recognized unions and obviously non-union members. For those of us in the unions, the 3 get together with the company every year to negotiate our raises. This year the initial offer from the company was 2.5%, non-union staff basically get told that's their raise while for the rest the union argues it out. In the end the union staff have got 6.5% plus a cash bonus, still not great but better than recent years, and it comes with some changes to work-life balance and other perks to add a sweetener. When these were announced, one of my non-union co-workers was extremely upset at being fobbed off with just 2.5 and getting no bonus. I suggested maybe he join a union and then he can benefit from next year's negotiation. His response was that he'll never give his hard-earned money to a bunch of socialists running the unions. I left it at that. The next day I opened up my emails to find he'd sent a department-wide email. The content was going on that non-union staff were getting shafted and they shouldn't have to pay protection money to the socialists to get fair treatment. He ended with a suggestion that all non-union staff should get together to negotiate with the company as a group to ensure they got fair treatment. I'm pretty sure quite a lot of people got a good laugh out of that one. Saw a post saying don't be afraid to shame. Here is my experience at the FDOH in Miami. I used to work at the FDOH in Miami as a COVID lab tech. Micromanaging got so intense that in a span of 2 months the department went from 20 techs to 8. Micromanaging never stopped, it worsened, and after receiving an offer for another job I never showed to the lab, sent my resignation letter 3 weeks after being working in the new job as the director was up the team leader's ass about me. Fuck that guy, in all honesty. He even made various employees in my department cry multiple times. I heard he moved to Texas and I hope he doesn't get a position in management there, because chaos follows that guy. God bless y'all. Edit. It is worth to mention that a month before the micromanaging started, he installed cameras in the lab. Patients' personal information was being recorded 24/7. As if micromanaging from work wasn't enough, he'd constantly watch the cameras on his days off, at home, and send emails about us not being on task for X, Y, or Z reason. On top of that, he'd also appear during his days off to check how work was going. He lived 45 minutes of work without traffic, driving through the highway. Pay was 16/HR, I lasted 6 months in that place. How to deal with a bad performance report at a daycare. I just got my 3-month progress report and the director told me that based on my performance I would be terminated, but since this is my first time working with kids in a daycare setting and lack of training, they were going to disregard my report and just see what happens in a month and have the main teacher train me more. I know this shouldn't be upsetting, but this feedback has gotten me stressed out on top of the fact that I'm paid $13 an hour full-time. We lost 4 staff members, one of which just worked here for 2 weeks, and I'm stressed these past few days from this new job. Work made a mistake and overpaid us, now they want to garnish wages. Exactly how the tile says. My work has been paying us bi-weekly since I've been here, 1 year exactly. Last Friday we didn't get paid on time and everyone was pissed. Duh. They then came out and said they haven't been meaning to pay us bi-weekly and now we're to get paid on the 1st and 15th of the month. So instead of the 24 paychecks we were supposed to be paid, they paid us an extra paycheck in January and in August. Hasn't happened yet. Now that they are changing the pay structure to the 1st and 15th, they want to take out the extra paycheck from January out of our commission checks next quarter commission check. Is this legal? Edit, located in Illinois. Thanks for applying, now please do it again. I'm in the process of looking for a new job, and I've had a few of these interactions now. I'll submit my resume/application via LinkedIn or Indeed, and then get some version of this message from the hiring/HR manager. Hey, thanks for applying for this position. We would like to interview you. If you are interested in applying for this position, please visit this URL and submit your application. Nope. Fuck right off. You can literally link to your website with that apply button. Why the hell am I being asked to repeat myself, especially if you know you want an interview? This screams scam/phishing attempt. I've been looking for something for a while now and this shit is just wearing me out. Having to navigate all of the hurdles to apply for positions that have ridiculous requirements, worrying about using the right balance of words to meet filter requirements, and sifting through all sorts of conflicting advice has me feeling hostile about most of these companies. The pay is shit. The benefits are usually shit. The requirements are shit. This whole process is trash left to sit in the sun, and we're supposed to act like we're being offered caviar. So I had a fun day at work yesterday, note the sarcasm. So this happened at around 4, I'm off at 5. Guy was yelling and being belligerent, and had been when I arrived at the front desk for my last hour. He was upstairs so I couldn't see what was going on or catch everything he was saying. When he started to get loud and shouted something like "What about active shooters?" I went to the back and got my mace. I wasn't gonna rule out the possibility of him trying to assault staff on his way out. Staff have been physically assaulted multiple times. Earlier this year there was also a hostage situation at another branch involving a guy with knives. While in the back, I told a couple co-workers to not go out front. Dude was still yelling when I got back. A co-worker at the desk with me said I didn't have to stay, but I chose to since it was a desk shift, and I didn't think it'd escalate the way it did. Patrons were leaving. I felt bad for the patrons for having their time at the library disturbed, but at the same time I was glad that patrons were getting up and leaving because of this guy, because maybe it will show management what kind of environment they're allowing our library location to be. The guy refused to leave, said he'd only leave with police. Later I learned he had called the cops on himself. Cops came in through the front. I'm all Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ, when I see the rifles. Cops gather at stairs and 1 or 2 at the elevator. One of them asks, "Is there an active shooter?" "No, you dumb motherfucker, if there was we wouldn't just be sitting here behind the desk." So the guy comes down and is making remarks / playing passive-aggressive friendly with the cops as they pat him down. One hikes his shirt up, boom, there's a knife. He said something about having a water bottle. He was walked out like cops are wont to do if it's a white guy, and I heard some loud talking out front. The whole thing took about 20 minutes or so after I got to the desk. Pics, people in charge shift lead, basically, came to check in on us. I said I was freaked out by the rifles and the guy's knife. Pic said the guy said it's a water bottle and I'm like, oh, bull. I know what a knife looks like, and I know what a water bottle looks like, and that wasn't a water bottle. I'm okay, but freaked out and angry. Angry because I know that, like every other time shit like this happens, management is going to feed us meaningless platitudes and then do nothing to make the place safer. When a guy was tossing a brick around and another guy stabbed someone, we brought up the issue with people bringing weapons into the library and management responded with, well, they feel like they need weapons on the street. The library is not the street. I'm freaked out because there were rifles. Seeing a bunch of cops walking in with rifles is just naturally going to be a jarring experience. Libraries regularly have to deal with workplace violence and mental health crises because the way our system is set up, there's very few if any resources for people experiencing addiction and mental health issues. It's insane and upsetting that this is pushed on us, and I wish that there was pushback from the library, and more pressure being put on our government to get the proper shit put in place for these people. I got into library work because I love books, not because I want to get traumatized every time I go into work. And I'm sick of management's excuses for shitty patron behavior and straight-up violence. If it wasn't enough that a coworker got jumped, and wasn't enough that people toss shit around and flip over displays, and it's not enough that a guy gets stabbed, I'd really hate to think about what will actually be enough for management to act. Ever worked for a company that used fake employee/board member names on their website? I'm interested to hear if anyone has had a similar experience. I was hired under false pretenses. I was told there were 5 other employees working for the company. As it turns out, none of these people were real. It was the CEO pretending to be customer service representatives, a product manager and a communications rep for the company. The CEO used these names with customers but had also used them with me, as a way to bait talent. Have you ever had a similar experience? What was the industry, company size, etc.? Are there protections against these kinds of things? Were you asked to partake in the lies at any given point, and did you? I know that there are pseudo or nicknames for customer service reps across a lot of industries, but I'm curious about a more blatant lie such as the one I experienced. I'm going to work how they pay me. I just got my review and raise at my job that I've been with for 3 years, all through COVID, an essential business. It was $0.75 an hour, and my management team is acting like they're sacrificing a lot to get me that much. I came into this job with 4 years experience, and needed 0 training when I came in. After they told me what my raise was, and continued with my review, it basically summed up to them telling me that I need to continue to do better, when neither of them have experience in my particular job. I'm still making sub $20 an hour, while they told me that the pay cap for their positions had just risen, again, since last year, but mine had not. I've decoded today that I'm going to work like they're not paying me enough to make rent, because they don't.